Hi, this is Chaim Metzger from Beit Midrash Zichron Dov. I would like to speak with everybody today about what it's like to have Sukkot in the Northern Hemisphere, in North America, in Canada, as opposed to what it's like celebrating Sukkot in Israel. So to start off, I just want to base a little bit of intro about the purpose, about how we're supposed to live in our sukkahs. So the pasuk about how we're supposed to dwell in Sukkot mentions that we're supposed to reside there for 7 days, and then it also says then the Gemara darshans that how are you supposed to reside there? Teishvu ke'ein taduru. You're supposed to live in the sukkah the same way you would live in your home. So what does that mean? So that means if you have nice dishes, you bring out the nice dishes to the sukkah. If you have a couch, you should bring out the couch to the sukkah. You're supposed, just like you eat in the sukkah, you also will sleep in the sukkah. Just like you normally would eat in your home, you're also eating in the sukkah. Because you're supposed to eat, sleep, and for all purposes, live in your sukkah. But there's only one problem: that when you look around, that ask the average person in in Canada or in North America for that matter, do you sleep in the sukkah last night? And the answer will be no. We'll ask Jews living in Europe 100 years ago, do you sleep in the sukkah? The answer would be no. Oh, why not? So the Ramah addresses this in Shulchan Aruch and Hilchot Sukkah, Siman Tov Reish Lamed Tet. When discussing, when the Shulchan Aruch mentions how you're supposed to eat and sleep for all 7 days during the day and the night in your sukkah. So he mentions, and there's a minhag nowadays not to sleep. So he gives two reasons. One is because people's wives aren't so inclined to join them in the sukkah. You're supposed to, just like you normally wouldn't sleep outside, you wouldn't normally go to sleep, if you're kicked out of the house. So you normally want your wife to be with you whenever you're going somewhere. So there too, that's why people aren't sleeping in the sukkah. Because another reason, and it's because it's too cold outside. That's why most people don't sleep in the sukkah, because it's simply too cold, and once you're in such pain, you don't have to sleep outside. So the only issue is that these phenomena of saying that, I can't sleep in the sukkah because my wife's not going to be there, or because it's too cold, these are the reasons given by people who live in Succot, right? Anywhere that's not in Israel, that's what they say. It's too cold, my wife's not going to join me. But we're to go in Israel and ask, so are you going to be sleeping in your sukkah? Many people will be saying, of course I'm going to sleep in my sukkah. So what's the difference? So one is the differences in the climate. So if you're in Northern Hemisphere, in Northern Europe or North America, for the most part, it's actually pretty cold at this time of year. And therefore, it's not so comfortable to be in the sukkah. It's cold. As far as the question of, why won't people's wives do it? Because typically, if you're in Succot, where do people place their sukkahs? Some people place it in their backyard. If they have a backyard. If you don't have a backyard, then sometimes you'll have a communal one for your apartment complex, where you have to schedule who's going to use the sukkah when, and the others being able to use the sukkah at night. It's often not safe, so people don't do it. In Israel, how is it set up? So if you're ever in an apartment building, so every single apartment is their outdoor porches, which are called merkosot in Israel. They're all staggered. That way, every person can put their own sukkah on their own porch. That way, you can actually very easily make your own sukkah, which is with complete privacy, and therefore you have no problem both sleeping there, not worried about anybody coming in. You're also not worried about privacy because you have full walls, and it's nice and safe. And also, the fact is that it's much warmer also contributes and helps a lot. So back to the original question. So is there a difference in practice between in Israel versus in Succot, meaning in Northern Europe, North America, or again or if you're in South Africa or Southern Australia, right? So why are people doing it so much? So the answer is because Sukkot is designed as one of the Shlosh Regalim, is a holiday that's meant to be celebrated in Israel. And if you're not in Israel, there's all these logistic issues that'll come up. And again, it might be too cold, it might not be safe, the building might not be built properly to set up for sukkahs. But really, the true answer is how to properly celebrate Sukkot in the safest and fullest way is to do so in Israel. That's the match, everybody.